got no chill today. Let's see how much I can get done before my eyes give out, yo. Let's see how much I can do. What's up, y'all? Olaf in the house. Undied 24. What's up, Saito? Yeah, y'all. I'm just here. Trying to go in, unleash the bloody hurricane, cause I'm on limited time. So we're just gonna be pushing until I feel my eyes hurting. Hopefully, I can get one page done out of the double spread. You know. So, yeah, let's see what we can do. I even switched on the night light function on the computer right now. Even though it's daytime for me, it's like 1 p.m. But oh well, I gotta protect my eyes as much as I can. And I realized something with the quality of drawing traditionally or inking traditionally. Man, the lines are just not as sharp. And the problem is that I don't have a mega scanner, like the scanner the Japanese use. If you have like a proper mega scanner, you'll be alright. But I don't have that. I scan with my phone, and of course it can't pick up. It's not as sharp as those hardcore professional scanners. And I once had a decent scanner, but it wasn't decent in itself. A scanner that's attached to the printer. It was dismal, actually. It was worse than my phone scanner. So now I realize that, you know what? Looks like I'm going to have to just draw and ink digitally from here on out. And so how I pace myself to make my eyes, stay functional is going to be the key. So I'm going to find that out after I finish this chapter. How many pages do I have left? Let's see. I have 1, 2, 3 pages left to do. Okay. I need to fix and configure this page. So that's gonna take time. But I'm not doing this one today. I'm gonna do this one last. Do this one dead last. But anyways, gotta finish this chapter. All distractions, all excuses have been thrown to the wayside now. The establishing of the infrastructure in terms of getting more books out has been solidified now. So there should be no more problems or excuses on my side. Now it's all going to be about finishing, delivering. And I've decided that I'm going to, like, per volume, I'm thinking 6 chapters will be enough now, because usually I make it 8 chapters per volume, and that actually is what can make it take a bit longer. I think in the end, even if it's 5 chapters, so long as it's satisfying to the reader and they don't feel ripped off, like, oh man, I just got 5 chapters in here and I didn't get enough caffeine from it, I didn't get enough sauce from it, then you should be fine. So that's what I'm gonna try to experiment with. So I do look forward to drawing the next chapter though. Lancelot. Oh snap, is that a spoiler? Not really. It should have been obvious. Actually, maybe not. But it's going to be real interesting. Lancelot versus Alex is gonna be one hell of a matchup. Because for those who saw, is it in volume 3? Yeah, it's in volume 3. Alex talking to himself that no human being can beat him, right? And then he has no idea. Forget Arthur, but he underestimates humans who possess divine relics because he's never fought one, even though his servant Peter uses a divine relic. They've never they've never fought, you know. So um, he's gonna see just how strong humans can be if they're equipped with these weapons. So that's gonna be fun. Already did the storyboards for that, so it should be cool. A long time ago, I used to like drawing backgrounds, but now I hate it, bro. I remember when I submitted my stuff to Freddy Krueger, Saturday AM, eons ago, right? And they all complimented me on how good my backgrounds were back then. I don't think I don't think I'm as precise as I used to be drawing my backgrounds back then. And I'm talking about nature, not like landmarks or buildings. Because back then I didn't know perspective at all. But when it came to drawing like trees and foliage and whatever, you know, it was pretty alright. But now I hate it. I flippin' hate it. 5 to 6 chapters is still good, yeah. Ever considered getting assistant? Heck no, bro. I ain't getting no assistant. I can't pay these people. No way. I don't want an assistant. Um, I don't want an assistant. I got to do everything myself, bro. I've never understood, unless of course you're in Japan and you have to get assistants because, you know, the schedule. But in general, I feel allowing other people to touch your stuff and then you claim that it's your work, man, that just doesn't feel right to me. It has to be mine, all of it, all the mistakes, all the coolness. It has to be all mine. Cause when I realized just how many assistants were working on My Hero Academia, I kinda stopped giving Horikoshi so much credit. I really stopped because I couldn't tell which part he was drawing and which part he wasn't. So I was like, okay, Horikoshi, I don't know, bro. Think I'm overestimating you here. So I like doing it myself. Rookie Rock Solid was good. That's good, man. We're just out here pushing as much as we can. See, in Naruto, Kishimoto, when he would render out trees, right? Trees like as they are here. I just need to select everything properly. Let me close all the open lines. I used to find that rendering style of trees and whatnot simple and really effective. But now, well, it's still simple and effective, but I think it has to go along with your style, because let's try the Kishimoto rendering style for the trees. Decrease the size of your brush and start scratching it. Now remember, I used to say scratch around according to the form of whatever you're rendering out. And here, I'm making it rather random. I'm not sticking to the form, because if I did, I would have to stick to the form of every individual tree to some extent. So let's see if this works or doesn't. See, when you don't draw often, you forget the type of rendering technique that works for you. And I've forgotten. I have. And then I find myself experimenting again as to like, is this one better? Is that one better? And this is not better at all. So get rid of that and just put some gray action. And then, when it's grayed out, what I will do is, like Hirokoshi can put like giant black marks here and there, but it doesn't work for everybody. So you see how I'm going about it now? The creator of Radiant, he renders out his trees like this here and there, but he does use a bigger brush. For me, I don't want to use a bigger brush. I like it small like this. I feel it works better for my overall style. Because for me, I don't want the backgrounds to, outweigh the charm of the character designs or the character rendering. It's a form of passable as well. So you need to decide how much charm do you want your backgrounds to have versus your characters. How much rendering you want to use in comparison to characters and backgrounds. This is a tad tedious, it seems, but it's still rather fun. And I know, some can say, well, bro, it's right here that an assistant can come do this tedious work. I don't care, man. I don't want no assistant touching my stuff. Can't afford it anyway. But even if I could, you want to know the first thing I would buy if I had all that cash? I would buy more time. That's it. I'd be able to afford more time, so I'll be able to do more in general. So let's see, getting the hang of it in terms of the flow. Some people do backgrounds last. They render out the characters first and then they do backgrounds last. For me, I go panel per panel. I just can't break it up like that. I just can't. Get rid of the night light. Yeah, there we go. There we go. What did y'all think of the Freddy Krueger situation? Dude threatening me. He gonna lock me up. You know what he said about if I'm such a great speaker, why have I not been invited to any events here in South Africa? And I'm sure everybody here knows already because I made it clear that these niggas here don't want to empower anyone that's actually good at anything. They don't want to promote anyone who's talented in anything. It's all political, it's all tribal, it's all subversion. Right? So of course they wouldn't invite me anywhere, right? Because I'm the real deal. They want people to believe that all there is in this place is a bunch of Neanderthals pretending to be great at something. And how South Africa, in the end, will forever be known just as the place that created Amapiano and some gotas. That's it. You have people in this country who work at certain studios, right? Internationally, even remotely. Yet, they never, bro. They have never tried to go beyond. And maybe that's just them. They're not ambitious like that. But I've always tried to go beyond. I was on, national TV for the entirety of the southern hemisphere over here. The southern African hemisphere. I had people from Namibia, Botswana calling me up. Yo, I saw you, bro. You doing manga, bro. Yeah, man. Parents called me. I saw you. My son loves your stuff. Please, can you teach him? And how did that go? How did it go? Niggas, bruh. Niggas saw that the cell number was over there or you were available on Facebook and they jumped at the opportunity to be associated with you. They didn't want no lessons. They didn't want no improvement. They didn't want any upgrade. They just wanted to holler, bro. That's it. They just wanted to holler. And the ones who then ended up setting up a meeting of some sort, right? On the day we're supposed to meet, niggas cancel. What do you expect? Right? What do you expect? I kind of saw it coming. I'm like, yeah, please. Y'all ain't gonna commit to none of this. And they never did. So it's like, Fred, what makes you think a continent like this, right, where people never keep their word, where people say things because it's within the context of the time, right? Oh, I saw something cool and I want to just talk, run my mouth, talk to this guy type thing. But you're reacting to what you see. You're not actually processing it. Of course, they wouldn't really hire me or invite me anywhere. There's no real investment here. There's no real market. Even though there is a Comic-Con, it's got nothing to do with comic creators. You'd think Freddy Krueger would know that, but you know, he's a scammer anyway, so he doesn't know. He doesn't know. Typical. So, no, I'm never going to be invited at Comic-Con. And I've told the story 10,000 times that when I was, they gave my seat to somebody else. You know, I wasn't about the stupid Pan-African Wakanda bull crap. And so they let me go. You know, a gatekeeper in the animation industry, whatever. Well, it's not even an industry here, but the animation game in this country, right? Gatekeeper brought me over, gave me a tour. I won't say where or what, but anyway, he was just showing me that he runs the place. And he wanted me to agree with him just how racist and pathetic white people are. That's what he wanted from me. And he kept on dissing white people all the time. He kept on complaining. We would drive past neighborhoods where, you know, most white people had their houses there. And he would complain about why do white people have such big yards? Why did they build such big walls? What are they hiding from? Why are they protecting themselves? Are they protecting themselves from us? You know, he said that the skeleton of a white person is different to that of a black person. And I was like, what is this? What's wrong with this guy? He already has power. He already has money. But he had to just keep on hating. Each time he was like on fire to diss white people, he expected me to agree with him. And I never did, because I'm like, dude, this is bullcrap. I don't need to agree with this. Who said a nigga can't have a big yard if he's got the money, right? Who said that? How do you know that a white person's skeleton is so different? Did you dissect them? It was just ridiculous. But aside from him wanting me to agree with his racism, he wanted me to be part of the Pan-African thing. You know, draw black people for the sake of it. I'm like, dude, that is not what I do. That is not what I do. I'm not gonna draw niggas just because I'm a nigga, right? I don't believe in this culture you people say we have. We don't have a culture, right? And whatever's left of it is some bull crap. This idea of lobola, you know, paying a giant dowry for a woman that's been ran through by 45 niggas who got 3 kids out of wedlock, and I'm supposed to pay a giant dowry for that? She can't even cook right. All she can do is produce a gota and put a whole jar of acha up in that sandwich, right? And I'm supposed to pay all that money for what? So the uncles can get drunk? bruh, it just never made any sense to me. You can't force me to have pride in where I come from. When where I come from, every chance they got, they wanted me dead, or they uh, they made fun of me for not being as crazy as they are, right? For not being as drunk as they are. So I was like, nah. So if you're not gonna invite me to Comic Con because I don't agree with this nigga stuff, it's fine. I don't belong there anyway. Then, what am I gonna benefit when everybody's playing pretend there, but in actuality, it's just some form of African supremacy, a an attempt to show their supremacy, right? And when one of the crazy politicians passed away here a month ago or 2 months ago, you want to know what them niggas did? Them niggas decided to go to an Afrikaans school, right? To have the funeral ceremony, give the eulogies at the Afrikaans high school. Pretty much a white high school, right? And you want to know what it looked like when they were done? It legit looked like the 3 zoos were set loose. Every crazy animal was set loose when they were done. I have never seen so much litter in my life on a campus before. I've never seen that amount of litter. It's as if the politician said, hey, this is what we want to do. We're going to show them that we have power. The Afrikaans have no more power anymore like that. So we're going to rent out the school by force and we're going to leave a mess. And that's exactly what happened. And I was like, this is the culture? This is the culture y'all want me to represent? This is the culture you want me to be proud of? Nah, you all can go hang yourselves. I am not going to do that at all. So, constantly, I'm going to get let go. I'm not going to get invited anywhere because I'm not a black supremacist, right? I'm not a pan-Africanist, a cultural Marxist, an idiot. I'm not going to be invited anywhere. And to that guy, I don't know if you're watching, bro. You called me last year. You remember that? Bruh, why would you call me and ask me about, am I coming to Comic-Con? You just wanted to rub it in my face. Typical nigga, hiding behind your Jesus rhetoric, right? But in actuality, you were just coming after me to gloat, to show that you still have relevance in comparison to me. But then if you want to call me, right, to show that you have relevance, right, that means you know that you don't. You know you are inauthentic. You know you're just a sack of garbage, bro. So, you see what I got to deal with, man? Anyway, let me try to experiment with some brushes here for the tree. Oh, that's the wrong one. Tree bark. Oh, that one is too much. Okay, not bad. Let's see. The weekly schedule is brutal, that's fair. It would not only put a bad taste in your mouth, but having an assistant help draw your stuff would kind of compromise the vision. Exactly. The thinner brush helps the depth so well. Gives uniqueness. Glad you see it, bro. Why did you delete the vid and re-upload it? Because I was asked to. Black Swan wanted me to re-upload the video because the original one that I uploaded, I can't give more details than that. I mean, maybe you can tell what is the difference between the two. right? But it was by request, so I had to do that. Not my fault. I'm not getting an assistant either. Yeah, man, don't do it. I think the whole Fred situation just justifies my reasons for not wanting to deal with Satan. Yeah, I get you, man. I get you. Uh, yeah. Um, these brushes are so helpful sometimes. Well, if you use them right. If you use them right. And if they actually look like they belong in the panel. Because the moment they start looking like they don't belong, then there's a problem. Let me try this one. No. What about this one? Definitely not. Not bad. You know, rendering water is a tad annoying. Oh no. What the hell? Where is that? Sometimes I do overthink rendering of certain panels, but that's because I don't draw often enough. Um, and then sometimes it's like, hey, aren't you breaking consistency of your rendering? Because see how I did the water here? Within the context of this scene, it makes sense. And then here, I didn't put any screen tone at all. The sky's already dark. Man. But I don't have time to overthink. I don't. What's y'all's most favorite part of the ManaA process? Is it the drawing, the inking, or adding the dialogue or the toning? For me, honestly, it always used to swap around. So for now, definitely my favorite is the dialogue. Adding the dialogue is fun, man. Because I get to have a long conversation with the characters. It's as if they're sitting here with me. That sounds crazy, definitely. But that's the fun part. So I usually tend to add dialogue dead last. I've been seeing a lot more so-called legendary artists like Rob Liefeld, David Finch. I mean, he's been on YouTube for a while now, but David Finch and Francis Monpol, right? These are American comic book artists who, like Francis Monpol, right? He's a great artist, sure, but the budget game for his videos is so high. I'm like, damn, Francis, why go to this extreme? And I don't know. It felt like he needs to have a high quality video production. Looks like it was studio made. Um, just to compensate perhaps for how boring he is. Because despite his experience and him working in the industry, these people don't actually give us anything real to chew on. They don't. It's always just a silly goose time with them. It's always just, in my day, when I met Jim Lee at the convention, blah, blah, blah. It's like, man, screw you, damn it. Give us something to chew on. Give us something useful. Why don't you create workshops or something? Host tournaments. Something, for goodness sake, you sacks of utter trash. It's just annoying, man. Someone like David Fincher, you see, I would have never known that David Finch and Kenneth Rocafort were actually trained by Mark Savistry. Like, I would have never known. Wavy has shared that information that, yeah, these dudes are trained. They're trained by the A-team of back then. And I always wondered, how does an artist like Kenneth Rocafort exist? He is so good, man. His art is, I say he's the best artist ever, honestly. Everything that he touches, that he draws, that he illustrates, it's so perfect. Now I know this can be subjective, but honestly, just go check his stuff out. His painting, his coloring, his character designs, everything is perfect. He's the most completed artist ever, man. Like he does everything himself. Lettering, coloring, inking, sketching, everything on his own. So I'm like, yeah, but how did this guy get to this level? How? What did he do? What did he eat? He was trained. Same thing with Jason Fabok. Jason Fabok was trained by David Finch. David Finch, who was trained by Mark Savistry. And what I hated was, in a lot of interviews, right, there was not enough details about the importance of being trained. They never, ever spoke about the importance of being trained, right? We all thought it was just talent. And then when you actually look at their artwork and compare it to the people who trained them, it is so similar. So similar how there's only a few things that are different, right? But I'm like, nah, man. Nah, this ain't it. This ain't fair. Fabok, your rendering and your use of strong blacks, now I can see that it was thanks to David Finch. It's just the form, like Jason Fabok's form design of characters, right? It's more fuller. Even though David Finch can draw like buff characters, they look more slender, they look more slim in comparison to Jason Fabok. But when you look at the rendering, it's the same. When you look at the panel flow, you assess David Finch's panel flow of his Batman in particular, and you look at Fabok's Batman panel flow, it's similar. And these people have been giving us a false idea of reality for such a long time. And I hate that, and I find that extremely disingenuous. They have gatekept knowledge and the access to skill development for over 30 years, right? For over 30 years. And now these people are about to drop dead because they're old or have retired. And there aren't enough young people who come even halfway close to David Finch, Fabok, or any of these guys because we were not trained. It just ain't fair, man. It just ain't right. So I'm like, nah, screw y'all. Because now they be creating YouTube videos, right? They be creating YouTube videos. They want to play buddy buddy with us. And I'm like, dude, don't play buddy buddy with us. You're just using us, man. You're using us to stay relevant. You're using us to buy your single issues that you're going to release once a year, right? You disingenuous pieces of trash. It just ain't right. It just ain't right. Liefeld right now has his YouTube channel, and he releases rather frequently, and it's boring. It's boring because the only thing these people have is the past. They only offer us the past. They're going to talk about the past. Yo, when this happened at that Comic-Con 25 years ago, what about now? If they talk about now, they talk about how much people are supporting them and glazing them and they thank them, but nothing now is being built. What are they doing now? Pretty much nothing. Now, what's his name? Robert Kirkman working with Skybound, right? Working on Transformers. I would have never known about any of that if Young Wavy didn't tell me. I wouldn't know at all, right? You don't get enough videos on YouTube, people talking about how excellent Skybound material is or anything whatsoever. You don't. So the culture around American comics is still rather dead, right? It's rather dead. I don't get why. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be at all. But it is. San Diego Comic-Con, people are still going there for cosplays. They still going there for seeing Robert Downey Jr., drink tea and talk to them. It's not for the comics at all, still. So why is it that Image does not host its own event? I've never heard of one. I don't know an Image event, a Skybound event. Why don't you host it at a campus somewhere? Why don't they do that? They have the budget. They have a 5-story building of different departments. So there's enough cash. It's like, dude, host an event, damn it. Bring in people. If they are bringing it in, it's through them connections. And that's what I hate as well, is that it's tribalistic now. It's tribalistic, bro. It's Africa. It's straight up Africa. So, come on, man. Like, how are people supposed to get anywhere or improve significantly if y'all are just gonna be selecting certain people that you're not gonna be, it's not gonna be really based on merit. It's gonna be based on who you know. That's kind of annoying, man. That really is annoying. What can you do, man? We out here training ourselves. We're looking at what works, right? Looking at the standards and so on. And then it's a trial and error to master these very standards. Trial and error. And for some, it can take a long time because, again, people got responsibilities. So it's just hell of annoying. Let's make this bigger. One thing I don't like doing is adding sound effects. I don't like adding sound effects because I'm never sure which is the best sound effect to add. Yeah, I'm never sure about that. Let me read some comments. Oh, Pierce is up in here. You know a lot more about South Africa than Freddy Krueger. Exactly, bro. Like, this nigga out of his mind. He out of his mind. Like, but anyway. I'm listening while drawing. I hope I didn't miss any. I don't miss anything. Yeah, hopefully, bro. Coffee, is it wise to choose a career path like drafter or architect in the hopes of using the education to get better at drawing? Yeah, definitely. There is an artist that did that. I just forgot their name, but there is an artist who took that path. In a way, I kind of wish I did also, but it was too late for me, bro. Honestly, it was too late. When I figured out that, hey, you could do this, you could take draftsmanship, because there are schools here in South Africa for draftsmanship also. It was too late. And by too late, I mean I was older now and the money ran out at home. So I couldn't afford it. So definitely, if you can do that, definitely take that path. If you think talking to your characters make you crazy, dreaming about your story and characters literally every night probably takes it to the next level. Yeah, no doubt about it. With the water, you ever thought about using a white horizon line? Oh, to separate the rendering of the sky. I have done that before actually. But you see, I actually forgot. You just reminded me that I have done it before. So thanks for reminding me. Have the water rendering fade. Yep, yeah, I did it, bro. Thanks for reminding me. I'll do that now. I ain't gonna lie, I like the fighting aspect of drawing action scenes. I'm not the best at dialogue and talking. Same here. In fact, drawing a chapter that has more, that has less fight scenes, it takes time for me. You have to find the best angle to make it look interesting. If they're just talking, you know, there's less energy in your strokes in the lines because they are not really in motion. So yeah, my favorite part of the process is definitely the conceptualizing process, then the sketching and rendering. Then everything is tedious, honestly. Yeah, I appreciate the technical aspect because I suck at them. I hate it, man. Drawing panels, the layout, my weakest point is inking. I hate inking. I used to love inking, but ever since inking on the computer and the eye problem, it just became unbearable. So, yeah. They don't let you know they studied and was trained by people. Sound like people nowadays, they don't put people on game or study to help the whole community at all. At all. They always want to make it look magical, like they were chosen, they were born with this skill. Like, nigga, no, you weren't. Even Michelangelo was taught, you know, by who? I don't know, but there was a bunch of people that showed him the ropes, and he was able to go over and beyond. Picasso, before he started doing his weird drawings, at 16, the guy was insanely good. He was Leonardo da Vinci good at 16, a level that I can never ever touch at 16 because he was trained since a little kid. So yeah, the only thing they gave us are YouTube videos. It feels as if they didn't pass the torch forth. Yeah, man, well said. It's as if they never truly became the master for the apprentice to look up to. The culture needs to change. Bro, you know, this needs to happen, that needs to happen. We need to do this, and it never happens. Hashtag nothing ever happens. You know that hashtag, right? The culture cannot change just like that. We say these things like a mantra. Things need to change. Well, it's not going to change. Not in our favor, you know. I mean, we out here at Coffee, we're building this network, right? Where knowledge can be shared and so on, so we can all improve. But in the end, I'm not a master. The masters, they're still alive, but they don't want to share. You knock at their door. Like there's this one DC artist who's actually South African, right? He drew a lot of Batman comics. His name is Jason something. And he was at Comic Con, and I remember asking him to mentor me. And I said, I will pay whatever price. You want to know what he told me? Right? He said, oh, I can't do it right now. I have a daughter. So, I just don't have the time. Like, mother effer, what? I said I would pay you to mentor me. Then you want to tell me you have a kid, so you can't mentor me? That felt like a gigantic retarded excuse. He had no excuse not to teach me at all, bro. I was willing, but he said it was an indirect no. I have a daughter. Didn't make any sense, man. It really didn't. They never give you the goods, just sell you the packaging and make you think you can make it yourself. It's sad, really, because you will be doing those tutorials they give on YouTube with no improvement. Yeah, just like White Wonga. Just like him. For me, when it comes to dialogue, I try not to think too much about it, if that makes sense. I like to treat my characters like actual people and think about how people would react in the situation. Yeah, that is the best route. That is the best route. And sometimes I gotta remind myself of exactly that. That, dude, don't treat them like they're manga characters. Treat them like they're actual people. So, I always just gotta remind myself of that. But okay, at least looks like I am gonna finish this page without my eyes burning. Because so far they are okay. I think I need to censor this part. Yeah, like so. I'm gonna censor that. Like, no, bro, why are you censoring it? It's unnecessary. And it's for YouTube. Oh, me goodness. Just got a donation. Thank you, Unknown Dynasty, bro. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it, man. This is how we rise. This is how we rise. Helping each other out like that. So thank you very much. Yeah, thanks a lot, bro. Don't just get many donations like that, but thank you kindly. Let's see. Let me raise that a little bit over there. And we put this brush tool to increase the lines. But yeah, man, these artists, hey, you can do it yourself. Buy my course, buy my product, support me, remember me. Man, no, enough is enough. Enough is enough, man. I wish I could talk to Rob Liefeld, bro. I'd call him a hunchback because that's exactly what he is. I don't care if you made $14 million 40 years ago. What are you doing for me right now? Why must I give you so much respect just because you made $14 million? Now, I don't know if it was 14 million, but if you made millions of dollars, does that mean you deserve my respect? What, like Elon Musk? Elon Musk thought that people would like him just because he's the richest man on the earth. but he's a complete unlikable goofball. He's a total goof, right? He he doesn't really know what to stand on or who to be. Elon Musk is like a chameleon trying to blend in certain areas, right? Trying to blend in with the rich oligarchs, trying to blend in with the normies, trying to blend in with the concerned um, gamers and whatnot. He is trying to infiltrate every aspect of the culture, and it's like, bruh, do you stand for anything at all? Like, come on, Elon, be yourself. He doesn't know what it means to be himself. So for me, I can't give respect to nobody just because you have all that money. So what? What are you doing with it? Rob Liefeld, it's only now that he's continuing with his Young Bloods. He only like released 3-4 issues of Young Bloods in the 90s. And now that he's all washed and maybe cash ain't so, stacked anymore, he gonna come up here and tell us what life was like back then. Get the hell out of my face. Get out of my face, right? A lot of these people cater to people who grew up in the 90s anyway. I wasn't born in teenager in the 90s. I was born in 95, right? So I have no real connection to what life was like at all during that era. So let alone, living in America. So it just sucks, man. These people are catering to boomers and Generation X, and they can't see that, there's another generation. You know that, right? But perhaps in their mind, I don't think they are that intelligent, but maybe if they use a bit of intelligence, they're like, you know what? The only group of people who have the biggest buying power right now is Gen X and the baby boomers, right? And so Gen Z and millennials, their spending power is really dismal. So maybe we shouldn't cater to them at all, because chances are they're not really going to like our stuff, and they too much into manga and anime. But in general, most of us wouldn't like your stuff, Rob Liefeld, because your story just sucks. Your characters are generic, lame, and sacks of trash, right? So it's hard to like garbage. It's hard. Who cares how fantastic your art might be if it just isn't relatable and it's just endless buff dudes and spandex? I mean, what does that do for anyone? Nothing. I remember reading so many articles about how writers are struggling to, tell a story using Superman that people can relate to. Enter James Gunn. Comes in, makes Superman a man baby, screaming every 5 seconds, being called a bitch in his movie by his drunken female cousin, right? And somehow that's the perfect Superman for this generation. Okay, I guess for, Gen Z people who've lost it, who are on drugs, pharmaceutical drugs since birth, I suppose if you're going to consider them as the big population right now, as the general target market right now, maybe it's accurate, but that doesn't mean they like him too. Oh, who am I kidding, bro? I've never really spoken to a jacked in the brain Gen Z person, like having a proper conversation. I haven't. So I don't know how they feel about the Superman movie. I've seen hunchbacks on social media saying, hey, it's so perfect and whatnot, but that might be a bot. So having a conversation with somebody who genuinely likes the new Superman, I have not found such a person yet. And I bet you they wouldn't really give me proper, adequate answers as to why they like him. So now it's like, okay, so all the directors are struggling. catering to a particular generation. Universal principles no longer exist because for something to be a universal principle, there has to be a general consensus amongst each other as a social species that this is how a man ought to be, and so on. But that has been done away with, right? The new Jujutsu Kaisen Mundalo, is it Mundalo? Modalo? The new chapter, which was reviewed on Patreon, right? It's even more political, right? It talks about, like the second page mentioned how the aliens perhaps could get offended if we don't understand how they foresee gender, how they see gender, how they use gender and whatnot. So they might be offended if we send two males to greet them. And I'm like, what in the hell, man? What in the hell? The Japanese now using gender politics, identity politics, openly, vividly, overtly. What a nightmare, bruh. What a flippin' nightmare that we're in. But go figure. Go figure. So we who still uphold the standards of old, the standard that kept our society functional back then, we must continue it, because look at the people who abandoned the structures of old. They are malfunctioning monsters who crash out every other day, right? Abandoning the status quo of the old ways, right, doesn't mean you're going to function better. It just doesn't, because you can abandon it but not have a new way to live, a new way to navigate in the world. So now it becomes a trial and error, and by the time maybe you find something that does work, you'd be in the hospital or you're dead. So it's just annoying, man. It's real annoying. It's like you gotta teach grown adults what it means to be a human being now. And they can disagree with you, of course. Yeah, well, I don't think being that makes much sense. And you spend time arguing. Bro, we ain't got time to argue. Now, whatever it is, or however you see the world, put it in your book, man. Put it in there, and it's gonna resonate with whoever picks it up. That's all we can do now. So now we can't keep arguing with hunchbacks, man. Just gotta put it up in your book. See, this is the thing when you use traditional ink, but as I said earlier, it's the scanner. The scanner makes these outlines rather thick and jaggedy, right? And it's just not as sharp as it would be if I inked this traditionally. Most people can't see that, but I see it, and I don't like it. I really don't like it. So going forward, looks like I'm stuck drawing digitally forever. But it's fine. Let's put some tree bark action. Okay, yeah, that works. reason why they don't want to share any of the sauce is because they see newer upcoming artists as competition and a threat to their status. Okay, yeah, I guess, but come on, man. We can't, newer people can't really compete with these guys because they have their names themselves are an establishment, right? But damn, this greed of information and knowledge, they're gonna take it to the grave, bruh. It's so sad. Ay, ay, ay. Sometimes a little bit of community and socializing can help with the hurdles. I hope our energy is being sent to you, Coffee. Yeah, bro. I mean, that's why I'm live streaming now. I'm like, hey, man, I'm feeling low. All stuck up in this little room. So maybe if I can get some energy from the brethren as I draw, I'll be powered up. And yeah, totally powered up. And that donation powered me up even further. So yeah. What's up, Kippy? Doing my course right now. I brought my tablet to keep the work going. Okay, that's what's up. And okay, man, looking forward to what you're working on. You gotta render out all that stuff you sent me to the max, man. But all right, I'm a jacked in the brain Gen Z person. Most of us are compromised. Bruh, how are you jacked in the head, rookie? What? Let me. Okay, I don't want to say I can hypothesize what jacked you in the brain. I know what it is. We all know what it is. But the fact that you're here, despite admitting that you're jacked in the head, that's interesting. Because most people can't stand the caffeine for very long. It's like, who's this nigga? Why he talking like this? Blue, 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 blue. Right? So I guess you're not that completely jacked in the brain if you're still here, bro. There's still hope for you, which is great. Now then, how am I gonna do this face over here? Let's see. Do that. Why the hell did I leave the arm here unfinished? Huh. That's just weird. Da 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 da. I was watching a bunch of people within the gaming and mostly in the gaming, right? Who complain about games suck now and whatnot. Most of them really do jump around between gaming and comics. Like this one guy, his name was EGAD, what the EGAD, and then he changed to Sigma Starscream, right? And I'm like, you people who can spot what's wrong with things, but honestly offer no change, but scream that this is wrong, this is bad, but offer no change, no plan of action, nothing at all. I don't get the dopamine that they get from doing this. Because they take themselves seriously. They take themselves way too seriously. And it's like, bruh, but you have nothing to offer though. Nothing. When you tell them to do something, they can't do anything. It's just weird. So seeing them bounce around from, gaming, then comics, they want to complain about everything. I just sit there, I'm like, yeah, this is profound decadence, because under the state of decadence, no one can create anything. They can only recycle. Movies recycle things right now. You know, um, comic books recycle. Everything recycle. Games are recycling ideas. The Unreal Engine 5 is a disastrous engine. Everything built on that engine keeps breaking, things are unfinished, yada, yada, yada. Just endless problems. And most developers, they recycle a lot of built-in assets from previous games or assets that have been developed by random studios and just put over there for other studios to purchase. But then every game starts feeling the same. Every game starts feeling and looking the same because they bought the exact same textures from the same studio. And it's weird to me. It's honestly weird. Now, remember when I spoke about how I don't think people have free will and so on? Yeah, I still don't think they do. And I think the state of decadence is the Tai Chi, not Tai Chi, Tai Chi, right? Tai Chi is I don't want to say a god, but a force, a dualistic force that regulates every aspect of reality, right? The Chinese knew all this a long time ago. It regulates every aspect of reality, and it determines the rise and fall of something. And in the falling stage, right, people naturally cannot create. They will always recycle. Now, there's still some of us who are trying to create, right, who are creating. But the tragedy is just that most likely our stuff will be discovered long after we're gone, right? So I'm training myself not to be upset anymore when I see all this decadent BS happening. I'm training myself, reminding myself that, look, we are in the Kali Yuga phase right now. The Hindus also understand the Tai Chi system. And the best thing you can do in this reality is definitely try to create if you are capable of creating. Otherwise, you're just serving as a force, then you serve as a force to accelerate the demise. And of course, that's demoralizing. That's very much so demoralizing. Ah, damn, this don't look right. How am I gonna fix this? See, the type of stories I want to tell now, because the world, our perception of the world and how the world ought to be has changed now. It's not the same anymore. So going forward, even after Bloody Hell, there's one other story that I would like to tell. And I most likely would call it Wheel Breaker. Wheel Breaker, right? What would that be about? Trying to break the wheel, bro. Samsara's wheel. That's what it would be about. What the? Oh. Let me get my textured pen. Everybody gotta ask themselves, what type of story do you want to tell? And then you ask yourself again, is this story actually even relevant to the human experience in this current generation? That's how it's got to be. Ooh, my, no way, I just looking terrible. Okay. I think what I'm gonna have to do Let's just go old school. Go old school like so. In fact, another technique I'll use over there. Now, Charlotte's hair, without it being tied up, it's not very long. Now, I want to, yeah, maybe it would be a spoiler, but who cares, right? Um, there's a reason Charlotte kind of hates her sister, Irene. It's, I'll mention the petty one, right? The petty reason, because there's a deeper reason. I won't mention the deeper reason, but the petty reason she hates Irene because she has long hair. That's it. It's like, bro, you can't be serious. Oh yeah, I'm serious. But it's not the main reason. But it sure as heck is one of the reasons that she's always been jealous of her because she has long hair and she doesn't have long hair. And yeah, very petty, very hunchback of her. But vampires can be hunchbacks, so what do you expect, you know? Eh, Papa Grizzle. Hi, Coffee. I'm red and glad we both joined at the same time. Looking at what you're drawing now, you improved a lot. Thanks, man. That's what we gotta do. We gotta keep improving. The unfinished arm could be a speech bubble space. Oh yeah, bro, you're reminding me of a lot of things. Cause this whole area, they are going to be speech bubbles. Um, but yeah, yeah. Thanks, man. I'm overthinking out here. Um, hey man, been watching you for almost a year now. You rewired my brain. Really, last year I was on a consuming spree, but after that lowest point, I got back up and started to work on my manga every day. Well, that's what we want to hear, man. Glad to have you on the productive side of town. And this kind of touches base on what I once said, y'all. See, for those who were asking me, like, okay, if you say we don't really have free will and everything is predetermined, why even bother doing anything? I'm like, well, the people who are meant to be here, the people who are meant to work, they will work right after they hear this caffeine. This caffeine is what's going to wake them up, break that barrier of mass consumption and sluggishness, so that they can realize that, wait, I shouldn't be living in accordance to these toxic habits that were in my environment. There's more to me, and this is what I have to do. And the same way I realize that there's more to me thanks to Dragon Ball Z on TV, some people can realize that there's more to them if they encounter the caffeine. So automatically it just justifies what we're doing, what I'm doing, what you're doing if you're creating, right? There are people like us who just need to hear us, who just need to read and see what we're doing. There are people I can't reach, but you can reach, right? So automatically, it makes our whole mission worth it. So, that's a good reason. Females will hate on the next sister because of hair length. Yeah, bro, like, you know what it is. You know what it is. Guess quite a few of us are drawing right now. Hey, see, imagine if we're all in a giant office right now. There's a nice, expensive coffee machine over there. We got the baker in the kitchen baking some muffins right now, you know. Um, and then the pizza man about to deliver, and then we got a gym outside as well, bruh. Everybody kind of drawing right now, but we're all separated. If I had that $1 million, I would have built a giant proper office or academy for all of us to just come in and start working, bro. There'd be no excuses. There's a gym outside, and a pool outside, and a tennis court, and then we have a proper hall with a giant library section of manga and comics, and a kitchen. Come on, man. And a proper dormitory section where if everybody just want to be solo, well, just go to your room. That would be so epic. But oh well. We can dream, right? We can dream. Everybody on the grind right now. That's what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear. Okay, let me add this idea I just got right now. You know, as I get older, I am starting to see the importance of, I don't want to say taking things slow, but working smarter, not harder. And I'm saying this because, yeah, a dude isn't 21 anymore. I don't have the same energy as I did. But I remember when I was 17, 18, bruh, I was drawing like 10, 12 pages a day, traditionally, of course. And I remember after Freddy Krueger screwed me over, right? Yeah, I was demoralized for a whole year. I didn't even know the word demoralization existed, but I was demoralized. And my work ethic, my energy levels were never the same again. It just goes to show that, you know, working with or for the wrong people can really short circuit your operating system, bruh. Freddy Krueger really short circuited my operating system, and he short circuited a lot of other people's operating system. And yeah, it just wasn't easy ever again. But now I am working much smarter. I'm just trying to. And the only way to work smarter, of course, is to understand what I say over and over, your circumstance. And see the patterns of your circumstance. Like, okay, it is the middle of the month. Usually the middle of the month, this, and that happens, right? You can actually pick up patterns in your circumstance that usually at this time of the month, this and that happens, or on this day, usually this happens. So you prepare accordingly for a possible screw over around that time. Or you get as much work as possibly done before the catastrophe takes place. Easier said than done, but it's possible. Aside from adding the dialogue, I do also like adding these rendering lines. That's also pretty fun. I just remembered something. This line here needs to be cut off. Has to be cut off here. Let's see what it looks like. Otherwise, I'd have to extend the whole thing. Okay, luckily it's fine. Cutting it off works. If you're wondering why, Yang Wavy recommended that it's complicated. I can't even explain it. It's complicated, but I'm just putting that thing into practice for the sake of, if you're printing with Amazon, there's additional things that you need to know about. So I'm just remembering that now and putting it into practice. I used to like the toning process, and now I kind of don't, because I maybe shot myself in the foot with the amount of rendering that I use for toning. But honestly, Bloody Hell wouldn't feel like it has a signature style without the amount of toning that I use now. It's because of that amount that now there's a strong feeling of distinction in the style. So, yeah, it's the sacrifice that I have to take. Let's add the tree bark right behind her. Which one did it look like? Whoops. Oh no. That looks dreadful. Absolutely dreadful. Let's try a different one. Nope. Yeah, this should work. Oops. Or not. That's the thing when you use brushes like this, is that when you make them bigger, you're not helping yourself out. They look, the lines themselves become too thick. But I can make a way. Right here. Okay. In fact, I wonder if I should continue with this whole side being black. I don't think so, but let me try. Nah. Let's add the other trees. I'll delete this. tree. Wrong side. Not thick enough. Come on. Gotta close all them white spaces. Okay. Now, definitely, if you have a sketchy panel, right? Like it's real rough and it's rather rougher than most of your pages. If it's in context, the roughness, then it's fine. Like in this very last panel here, seems rather awfully rough in comparison to prior panels, right? But the context is she just got kicked to Kingdom Come, right? So it's applicable. It's applicable. It does add more intensity to the scene, to the moment. Because sometimes, like I've seen on other Japanese manga artists, mostly random ones that you don't even know, that I don't even know their name, but I would read their stuff because I found them on Twitter, right? It's so clean. It's so clean, bro. Like, sometimes you just gotta let it be rough, but it has to be rough within context. Within context. Other people go too far with the roughness where almost every flippin' panel is all kinds of scratchy. It's scratch.com. And I'm like, nah, dude, you're doing too much now. So you just gotta know how much to add. Once again, passable. See what I'm doing here? In order to make the silhouette, her silhouette pop out more, gotta delete, erase some of these lines in the back. These overlapping lines. I guess I could make the outline of Charlotte here thicker, but I don't have to if I'm using this technique now. This technique that I'm using now. Okay, just like that. And this area as well. That area is fine. And now for that foliage. Now foliage actually, or foliage, Bleach uses Kubo. I don't know if he actually drew it himself, but most of his foliage always looked like it was a brush from Clip Studio, which is fine. I know White Wanga uses it. For me, it always felt out of place when I used the foliage, right? So I'm gonna try here because this ought to feel in place. That's if I even have the foliage on this computer. I have grass, I have leaves, but I don't have actual foliage. Let's look at the leaves. Okay, the leaves seem alright. Let me put it on a new layer. Let me put it on a new layer. Trees look good. Thanks. To take it a step further, I've been learning Japanese for almost 2 years now, and I want to localize my manga in Japan just to test the waters. Can't go wrong with that. You can't go wrong. Might as well try, bro. Yeah, man. The youth, I used to very much so care about the youth, even when I was a youth. And I saw people talk about the youth, especially in this country. Oh, the youth, yada, yada, yada. But they have a warped understanding of what youth is. Like, you wouldn't even understand, bro. It's so weird and messed up. But anyway. Yeah, I do feel inking digitally now is an extra step. The super quality scanner would be good, but most likely you can find it just in Japan, bro. And maybe it will cost you an arm and a leg to get it, so gotta use what I got. The lines on the trees don't make them go all the way to her body. Do you think the white spaces between would help? Yeah, I ended up doing that. Fade the lines out to a point. Yeah, I did that. Oh, Linda Ruthless here. What's up, man? May I ask you, on your last interview with peers whereby you confessed on not being a believer, now more, does this mean that the King of Light will not be talked about as much? Good question. And this time YouTube didn't delete your question. No, he will be spoken about. Remember, even though I didn't know it at the time, right? The King of Light did say, to your generation, I am called the King of Light. I've had many names before, right? So people think the King of Light is what I established him to be, but he's actually something else. And it's gonna be an enormous cosmic scale type fight, because this isn't really a spoiler. Arthur is going to test himself as, do I have free will? Or have I been chosen to just fight the ultimate darkness? Can I decide not to fight? Because we see him question these things or mention these things, that I'm just a 10-year-old kid. I want to play with toys, but at the same time, I don't want to be irresponsible. So he's going to question his own place in the world. That does he have to be here? And if not, can he just abandon everything and go home and go play with the toys? Will the King of Light even let him do that? So that's going to be very interesting, and it's going to happen. I hope it will be in the next volume, but we'll see, because it's close to happening right now. Or Jacob will need to rely on him to grow, but will find his own growth on his own personal journey, balancing the reality of being a human and a vampire. Not really. There is no balance. Jacob will be consumed by his vampire side, because you saw in volume 3, the abyss seed was activated in him. Lisa was cut off, or cut whatever out of him, right? So for the past 200 years, Jacob never needed or never experienced the struggles of being a vampire, such as the thirst for blood, the thirst for brutality in a way, right? He's never experienced that. So now, with Lisa out of his system and they can't synchronize anymore, he's going to experience the desire for brutality, and he's never experienced that. He's gonna lash out, he's gonna go crazy again, crash out again, and yeah, it's gonna be interesting. But he will meet Arthur, and things are gonna be different, right? So it's gonna be fun, bro. Like, yeah, Jacob is gonna enter in emo mode more than ever. If y'all thought he was emo before, what he's gonna be now is gonna be something else. But it's not gonna be long. It's only gonna be like for a short season or a short arc, right? A transitional arc where he's in this emo mode and whatnot. So that's gonna be fun to explore. Um, I'm buying the first volume of Bloody Hell this week off Amazon. Mr. Johnny, thanks, bro. I'm excited to read it. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. Ralph in the house, checking out the artist at his craft. Yeah, man, you've been doing your live streams like 24/7 every day, bro. I don't know what juice you're drinking, but you gotta give me the recipe, man, so I can have a sip and go at it every day as well. But definitely, since you work traditionally, bro, your eyes ain't burning like that. So even if I had the energy, my eyes would burn out, literally. So, am I thinking about getting out of Africa? Bruh, everybody who's up in here has thought about getting the heck up on out of here, you know? But you just need money to get out. So the day I have enough money, I'm gonna leave. And when I say enough money, I'm not just saying like the bare minimum. I need a lot of it so that I don't have to find myself working an extra shift at McDonald's wherever I end up, right? So we'll see how it goes, man. Since Irene is somewhat comparable to Itachi, like both are dying because of an illness, and since Lisa is somewhat dead temporarily, in a way, will Irene face the same fate as Itachi? Hell no, bro. I would never kill Irene off so soon, so quickly. And I wish we knew what Itachi was actually sick with, what his disease was, or I don't remember it being spoken about. Like, does Itachi have cancer or something? What does it actually do to his body? Well, I mentioned what happens to Irene's body in this page, right? She's got a form of cancer herself, Irene, where her cells degenerate. But you see, since this is in this chapter that I'm working on, not much of a spoiler. So for those who always wondered about the Bloody Hell power system, it took a while. I mean, this is chapter 25 after all, right? It's like, now you explain how the power system actually works. Yeah, now, right? And it's not really complicated nor that complex, but there's a rather big variety of the power system, because all the vampires, the humans, they draw power from different sources, and these different sources have their own system. Like Abysscraft, such as this, has its own system, right? Where you get these elements of casting, blasting, or enhancing yourself. And obviously, Dracula has all three in one, right? So vampires who can use Abysscraft, they have access to the Abyss Trinity, right? So exploring that and other children that Dracula has, I'm not going to show all of them in the story. I don't think there's a need, but let's say Dracula's first son, because we already saw his first son, Stefan. Dracula's first son, Michael, obviously he's the strongest child of Dracula. And I can tell you right now that he can use cast from the Abysscraft. Abyss Trinity. But what does that actually mean? What does that actually look like? We'll see when we get there, right? but it's fun. For those who use Magecraft in the series like Alex, it has a bigger system. There are more elements, right? As to why, it will be explained down the line. So far, the hook of the story has not been, how cool the power system is. It's just there. And there is enough depth to it that is like, oh, this is interesting, but it's not major. It's not like Hunter x Hunter. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that because I'm sticking mostly to the personal experiences that each character goes through. Either their pettiness or their vengefulness or whatever, So, yeah, everything else outside of the character's experience in the world is secondary for me. The power system, secondary. So, yeah. So Irene won't die now, bro. Don't worry. Kingslayer, I just bought you Volume 1. Thanks, man. Can I expect epicness? Well, you're gonna see the bloody hurricane, so yeah, I can say yes. We're getting some more stuff about King Arthur. Yes. King Arthur coming in, bro. He coming in. I know it feels slow, and like when is he gonna get back? Yeah, this is the problem I made, or the mistake I made by having so many characters. And that time, they're not that many. They aren't that many. It's a small cast, but nonetheless, every character that has been introduced has to serve a very good reason for being there. So yeah, Arthur won't come back in chapter 20. Is it 28? But oh well. Don't worry, there's plenty of him. Lindo says, and because of Lisa temporarily being dead, has her power depleted in a way because of not being protected by Lisa? Not her power per se, but it has depleted it. Like her vulnerability to sunlight and so on. Because thanks to Lisa, Irene as a vampire can walk in the sun. So with Lisa temporarily out, if the sun rises, it's all over for Irene. So some benefits of having Irene's power linked with hers are gone for now. I'm gonna leave. I don't need to. Okay. Okay, Young Dynasty, I hear you. I stay drawing every day, just starting late this morning. How do you do it, man? Give me the damn juice. Give me the damn juice. Well, glad you liked it, Ross. Glad you liked it. Okay, no more spoilers, bro. Fine, I ain't gonna spoil the story like that no more. But okie dokes. Where was I here? Oh, I wanted to test out the foliage. Let's see what it looks like. Oh. Well. Now that looks real handy dandy. Don't look too bad. From this distance, I don't look too bad. Maybe I should use this more often. But at the same time, no, because look at this panel here. You see how I did the little bush foliage myself here? It works. I like it. It really gives that old school vibe, that Kishimoto old school vibe. And then when I use it here, it does look nice, but I definitely can't use it all the time. So if I'm gonna erase this area with this smoke, let's see what it looks like. look like. It definitely does not work all the time. You see, areas like where Arthur lives, sometimes I wonder, it's like, do you want to draw these trees or do you want to use a brush? It just has to be applicable. Definitely can't do it all the time. Oh, forgot the ground over here. I need to erase that as well. Some of the foliage here. Let's see. Okay, it works. It works. Let's see if I add in the foreground. What's that gonna look like? Does not look right at all. Why does it have gray? Okay, never mind. See, before even putting whatchamacall, toning, the amount of contrast on this double spread already is rather high. Kagurabashi, I will give it that. It's got very, very good contrast. Even the new Jujutsu Kaisen piece of trash, very good contrast. And if you got that, well, you can just let it be as it is. But I can't let it be because my now signature style is having screen tones. But the intensity of this level of contrast really is applicable once more to what's happening. In this double spread here, there is not much contrast in comparison, right? But also, if you read this in context, it makes sense why. So sometimes I need to remind myself that, look, it's within context. This one as well, within context. That's why there is an omega contrast game. Context. Whoops. So, okay. I don't think I'm going to need to render out the water here at all. Except for maybe here. For this over here. Better yet, let me do it like so. Oh, I forgot to draw like water droplets. Okay. Let's add them in. I have to use a big brush. Like so. And then you create or you duplicate this. And increase. What in the hell? Okay, that ain't working. stand out a little bit. I just gotta do this here. And like so. Now, rendering is everything, y'all. Rendering, I would say, aside from your shape language and design of characters, it's another way to distinguish yourself. People can recognize that this is the art of so and so just by either recognizing the rendering style or the actual character style. And I think mine is reaching that level of recognition in terms of, oh yeah, this is that guy's style type thing, which is pretty cool. The same way you can see AI people draw one piece using Kubo style, there's a lot of that on Pinterest, man. There's a lot. And it's actually pretty annoying. Because it's like, damn, this looks great, but Kubo did not draw this. He did not draw this. You know he didn't, because he didn't post it on his Twitter account, which then does automatically undermine its value. But okay. Oops. Now, y'all remember what I always say about where is the light coming from? Gotta remember that. Let's see. Oh, actually, sometimes you actually gotta do this here. Sometimes you gotta work in reverse. And I'll show you what I mean by that. And sometimes, depending on the context again, putting toning outside of the lines. You know, back in primary school when they taught you how to color in, they would say stay within the lines. Sometimes you can go outside of the lines because it just adds more to the chaoticness of the scene. So here I am actually gonna go a bit out of the lines like so. Just looks more chaotic. Might not work all the time, depending on your style again, but it's worth the experiment. Yeah, seems to be working. Or at least I like it like this. highlights, yeah, it still works. Even the hair. I just realized I haven't had lunch yet. And y'all better know what I'm having for lunch. I'm having what I always tell people to stop having often. And obviously that's a burger. I'm having a burger and a giant bowl of some salad action. It's like, who eats a burger with salad? Hey man, I can't eat fries, bro. Like, trust me, I used to love fries, but I can't eat them anymore. I can't. Hey Coffee, good to see you drawing again. Yeah man, back at it. Screw them hunchbacks that wanted me not to draw. I'm back. Thanks Dynasty 4 24. Coffee, what were your favorite top paid reviews that either stood out for or enjoyed during? Okay. Damn. My most favorite? Damn, bro. You're putting me on the spot. Hard to kind of remember. I should ask you guys, what is your top favorite? Right? I know some people like the one I did of the guy who ended up reporting me and wanting a refund. But at the top of my head, I really can't think of one, hey? Sorry to disappoint. But wait. Nah, it's not even that one. Nah, I can't remember, bro. Sorry. My memory just ain't what it used to be. Okay. Let's see if I add grayscale here. You know, some people, as I always say in the paid reviews, stop putting so much grayscale. Let's see if I do it here. Is it applicable? It kind of is applicable, but it's unnecessary. It's unnecessary, so I'm not gonna put it. Now I wonder, do I need to put gray here? I don't think so. Neither here as well. Let me put the night sky. You know, Seven Deadly Sins, the way the artist creates the night sky there, he just makes it black, nice and simple. And I have done that in some chapters, but sometimes, again, is it applicable or does it work? Is it fine? Trial and error. So let's see if it actually looks fine if I add it. Where is it? Turn this around. Let's see. Does the moon always have to be in every shot? Not really. But it does make it look cool. Whoops, there's two moons. I don't know why this brush does this. Look at that. That's so stupid. Oh wow. Let me erase it a little bit. Yeah, good enough. Okay, I think that's enough gray for this side of the page. Oh wait, I'm lying. Not really. We can add it right here. Add right here. See what that looks like. Yeah, okay. It works. No gray here. I think it's fine. And I don't think I need speed lines here either. Or do I? Nah, I don't think so. I don't think so. Let me just add all the applicable grays now into the smoke. So, you know the artist Fukachi Akuda, how she draws her smoke is very interesting. I just wonder, because she works traditionally most of the time. I know I've said this is a stupid question, like, oh, what sort of brush do you use? Like, bro, it doesn't matter. I guess it does matter sometimes. Because the way she does the smoke, it really does make me wonder, like, woman, what the heck do you use? What do you use? Most people who ask that question are not people at all, just bots. And most likely are people who don't plan to draw at all anyway. But in my case, I am curious. I don't know if you guys read the latest chapter of Gachi Akuda, but honestly, it's getting out of hand, man. It's getting out of hand in terms of, I think the author really doesn't know what to do with the story as a whole. It doesn't feel like it's going anywhere. It feels incoherent as well, and she tries to make everything or every event mean something, and tries to attach every event to the finale of the story, whatever that's gonna look like, or tries to give everything that happens with characters we don't know or care about relevance to the main cast. And the fact that I can pick up on it, yeah, it makes me see that, okay, lady, I think you don't know what you're doing anymore. It started as a revenge story, then it became dude with his friends killing monsters, and then you went back to the revenge element. You introduced a villain, Zodiel, and what he wants to do is to destroy the sphere at the top. As to why, we still don't know. There's so many things that we don't know, and in actuality, I don't even have much of an interest as to why the world of Gachiakuda is the way it is. I don't. That interest was not built up for us properly. It was not executed very well. So I'm like, yeah, sorry, but it's rather unpleasant to read Gachiakuda right now. Really unpleasant. Artistically, of course, she just keeps getting better and better, right? But obviously, we need more than that. We need way more than that. Not working. These authors, when they go on for too long, looks like they literally lose the plot, bro. Literally lose the plot. So she needs a break. Maybe she needs to like take 2 months off and think about what the heck she's trying to say. Because I don't know what she's trying to say anymore with Gachiakuda. At first, I thought it was rebuilding your life after losing your first one, and having friends and whatnot despite living in a despicable place. But that theme didn't stick, so I don't know anymore. I don't know. Oh, I just realized I didn't give her sleeve of a. I'll have to do that. What the? Whoops. Now, one thing I am afraid of when it comes to Irene versus Charlotte here, obviously, this isn't going to be the only fight they have. It's just when you do rematches, like how Bleach establishes a rematch, Ichigo versus Ulquiorra again, or versus Grimmjow, it always felt long awaited and it was satisfying. Well, the Grimmjow one was pretty lackluster. How that fight ended, it was kind of disappointing. But the build up towards the rematch, oh man, it was just epic. And that's what I hope to do correctly in this story as well. How rematches end, oh boy, definitely can make or break a fan base. Almost done here. Just ain't gonna put the dialogue, of course. And now, dude, feeling the hunger. I need that burger. The Benny Shoga review is good. Oh, Benny Shoga, been a long time since I spoke to him or seen his stuff. Yeah, the guy, obviously talented, but he really never came back with another action series, which is a shame. It's a shame. I still haven't read it yet. Okay. See, Grappler Baki, a lot of people ask me about Baki, bro. as I said once before, I don't have the capacity to read everything anymore. But imagine if I did, and then the plot is lost. I'd go insane. I'd go insane. You don't even know what the hell is going on, bruh. I'd just lose it. JBZ, the art, it's what's keeping me in. Ah, man. I mean, damn, bro. Like, that's the reality. For me, definitely. Also, I keep coming back because there's a lot I can learn with the art, you know. I come back with the hope that, okay, um, is it going to be better now? Is it going to be better now? And not really. Not really at all. So, ay chihuahua. We are truly in that decadent state. Okay, let's add that lighting here. I just had a cool idea to make her silhouette stand out even more. Let's see if I do this. That works. Yeah, just like that. Oops, wrong layer. This calligraphy pen is pretty cool if you know how to use it. If you know what you want to do with it. I'm just messing around with it here. But I think next time I'll actually try to use it for something. Oh, I know. So, um, I have been looking a little bit into some Hindu elements, right? Which I'm going to implement in this chapter actually, right? I won't say what it is, but yeah, you'll see it when this chapter is out. Um, I'm gonna try to use this calligraphy pen for it. See how it looks. Hmm. Do that. Oh, wrong brush. Let me actually use a paintbrush. All right. Hmm. I want to add more lines to her figure. I think I don't have a choice. I have to. Um, because something feels like it's missing. So adding lines, these vertical lines here. I guess they don't follow the same direction as the tree. So people won't get it confused. Okay. Yeah, feels better. If I made it all scratchy like, but still vertical, I don't think um, it would look any better. Um, but yeah, now I'm out of energy. So some of the spaces here is where the dialogue is gonna go. Let me add some tone to the tree up here. Only 3 pages left for me to do. And then this chapter is done. 3 pages left. Yeah, hopefully I can finish all of those within the week. I'm gonna try to do that. I'm gonna try. Ooh. Okay, I guess the only thing left is adding sound effects that I don't want to do. But I'll just implement what the one thing I learned from White Wanga. Just that one thing, bro. You don't want to do sound effects like that? No problem. All you gotta do is just put exclamation marks, and you're good to go. Now, where to put them can be the challenge, I suppose. And how many can also be the challenge. And how the exclamation mark actually looks like. Because for me, what I hate about sound effects is it can take away from all the detail that you've put into a scene. Like so, I don't really want so much of the detail of the trees and whatnot to be raised or what, and so and so. So I think one is fine. Dun Da Dun doesn't have any sound effects, like any, and it works. Let me delete all the data in here. What the? Okay. And this scene here, it's like zoom, but it's not a zoom. It's a now I have to pick up a manga and look for reference as to like when somebody's getting thrown to the other side of the planet, what sound effect is used. Looking at Kodansha manga, right? They do translate. I mean, they do keep the Japanese kanji, and then they add the English one as well. But sometimes when you see the translation, the sound effect translation is so lame. Like this one that I'm looking at right here, Seven Deadly Sins, it's like whack, whack, whack. And you're like, ah, dude. Dude, that is just so lame. I'm not seeing anyone get blasted far away. What if I say, no, that won't make much sense. Yeah, I know which word to use, but I'm not going to draw it. So I'm gonna use this, which is twoosh. Yeah, twoosh. And as for which font, what the hell? Where is the normal font that I always use? CC Wildwords itself actually works if you play around with it. Twoosh or whoosh. Whoosh? Now whoosh just, it sounds more fitting, but it wouldn't look more fitting over here. So, okay. Let's add the white highlight, make it a little bit bigger, rasterize it, and then manipulate it in accordance to the perspective. There we go. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. So be it. I'll add the dialogue at the end of finishing the whole thing. But anyway, y'all, that's it for now. Thanks for joining in. Just started reading One Piece slowly. You just started? Damn, bruh. Okay. You just started reading One Piece slowly. I will watch the new anime when it comes out. It's really cool that the manga in there are small snippets from where Oda got inspired. Okay. CTTS, where have you been, man? Honestly, I can tolerate Bako more than solo leveling. At least Baki can be somewhat entertaining. Yeah, I'm not touching solo leveling, bro. And now it's got a live action movie with everybody's favorite handsome South Korean actor. And it's gonna make millions because of the guy and his abs. So, go figure. But yeah, y'all, thanks for coming in. Thanks for joining. And I will post the Young Wavy continuation, since we're breaking down Image and their success tomorrow. Hop on to that Patreon if you haven't already. Extra goodies over there. All kinds of reviews and all kinds of commentary on what the other hunchbacks are doing. But yeah, today we were all drawing together. Well, most of us. Next time, or one day, if I win $1 million, yeah, I'll build that academy, man. And then we can all draw in the same office space. That would be cool. Until next time.